If you have been living in the end for any amount of time and you still don't see anything, there's still nothing happening, this video is for you. So hi my love, I'm back, and this time I'm back with the Q&A video on living in the end of the wish fulfilled topic. The reason why I even thought about making this video is because I still see a lot of confusion around the concept of living in the end of the wish fulfilled. So I made a post and I asked everybody what's their actual definition about this. Like, what do they understand by living in the end of the wish fulfilled? And to my surprise, some of you really got it, okay? And some of you still have doubts and questions around this whole topic. So that's why I'm here today. In the first part of the video, I'm gonna remind you what living in the actual end of the wish fulfilled is. And once I'm done with that, we're gonna go over the post that I'm mentioning, and I will start reading out loud some of your comments, and of course I'm gonna answer to them. I'm not gonna have time though to answer to all of your comments in this one video, so we're gonna have a second part to the Q&A. And without further ado, let's jump straight into it, shall we? Okay, my love, so living in the end of the wish fulfilled. What is this? So this is a concept that we get from Neville Goddard. I mean, he's the one referring to living in the end of the wish fulfilled as living in the end of the wish fulfilled. And I know it may sound confusing, but it's not. Remember, manifestation and the law of assumption, they are entirely psychological, my love. There's no magical stuff in here. It's not even spiritual. It's entirely psychological. So, from this premise, we can identify that living in the end of the wish fulfilled has to be something psychological, right? What do you think? Yes. Okay, anyways. So, yeah, my love, living in the end that says my wish is done and fulfilled is just living in an inner knowing that exactly my desire it's done, mine, and happening right now. So that's all. That's all it is. And if you understand anything about manifestation, this is the goal with everything that you want. Occupying the state of the wish fulfilled. Occupying the inner knowing, the inner certainty, landing on the truth that what I want is already done, mine, and happening now. And I want to stress out the right now part, okay? It's very important. You're going to see why. We're going to discuss all of this. So we know already that the end of the wish fulfilled is just a state of being. Now, what happens when you're not in the end that says your wish is already done, yours and happening now? Because you always live, you're existing, yeah? And if you don't occupy that state, you must occupy then some other state, right? And yeah, definitely. Living in the end can be anything because you're always just living in whatever end or another. And if it's not 100% what you want, it's not what you want, right? So you can be living mentally in an end that's very similar to what you want. Let's say you want to be married. This is your end goal. But right now you're living in the end internally that says, well, I'm almost there. Well, almost there means not there, right? So, my love, listen, as humans, we have this tendency to treat everything in a linear fashion, even time. Our understanding of time is pretty linear, like we have concepts of past, present, and future. And we are used to see things this way. So, for example, you want to be in point C, but right now you're in point A. So somehow you think you have to go through point B first before you get to the point C. But with manifestation, this is not true. It couldn't be even any further away from the truth. Why? With manifestation, my love, it's not about going through a lot of stuff before you can get to what you want. It's about jumping straight into the state that says it's already mine. That's all. So what you have to actually do here is make your truth that which says what I want, it's already done, mine, and happening right now. No more and no less than what I want. This is where I am at right now. Now, this also, in on itself, causes confusion because a lot of people go like, well, okay, I understand. I have to land on the knowing right now that what I want is mine, no matter what I see, no matter what happens in my 3D, no matter what my past experience tells me. How do I go about that? How do I land on this knowing? So here is where manifestation techniques come in, right? And if you know anything about me, you know that I don't like them at all because it's a step that you can perfectly skip. It's the point B that you put in between you and what you want for you in order to get to where you want to be. It makes no sense, my love. Just be what you want to be. There's no reason for you to put a condition between you and what you want. And you know why? Because you are the all already. There's no condition on that. It's not that you are what you want only after you accomplish something or only after you follow some steps or apply a formula. If you're treating manifestation this way, my love, you're failing. I'm sorry to say. This is not the right way of treating manifestation. Remember what we said in the beginning? Manifestation is all psychological. It's not about what you do. It's about who you are. It's about being. It's the law of being itself. So it makes no sense for me to go through different pit stops before I get to my destination. I jump to my destination. Now, how do you do that without techniques? By deciding, my love. This is what I tell you always, yeah? Because everything is a decision. You realize it or not. What you think about yourself, it's a decision. What you think about your situation with your SP, it's a decision. What you think about your financial situation, everything is a decision. Either you realize it or not, you're making those decisions. Because you're the one assuming what is what. And the moment something fits your logical thinking, you say, oh, this is that. And you settle for whatever that is. So voila, you decided what is what. Now, let's go back a little bit to the manifestation techniques and why I don't like them. Well, first of all, when something is yours, you acknowledge that something is yours. Is there any more need to affirm for it? Do you affirm for something that you consider to be yours? You affirm for the love of somebody that you know they love you, for example, a family member or a friend, or no. Do you affirm for the stuff that you consider to be yours, that you have? You affirm about your phone? Do you affirm or script for your bed at night? None of this. So why are you doing all that? Makes no sense, my love. Techniques, if used incorrectly, they act as these pit stops that you put forever in front of you and you prolong the reaching to your destination. Because somehow you think, unless I do this visualizing, unless I script, unless I affirm, I'm not going to be what I want to be. I'm not going to manifest what I want to manifest. My love, you're already all things. Again, no condition on that. So it makes no sense to place a condition there. And also, by the way, let me tell you, before you knew about the law of assumption, were you using techniques? And look at the more negative examples in your life, like when you lost a job, when you lost a person. Were you affirming for all this? Were you scripting for it? No. So it makes no sense for you to do it now for the positive things that you want in your life. Makes no sense. This principle works in the same fashion both for negative things and for positive things. And it says, you are to experience exactly who you say you are, your truth about yourself and your world. That's it. There's no need for anything else. And this is your power, my love. You can choose who you want to be. And this choice has to come from inside. And you have to disregard everything that happened so far, what you see in front of your eyes, what your bank account tells you, what your SP tells you. You have to redefine who you are from now on and step into the knowing, you know what? I don't care how all of this looks like. What I want, it's done, mine and happening right now. And I live in this. I live in this truth. I live in it and from it. This is what makes the difference between those dreams and desires that you have that are never gonna come true and the ones that are gonna come true. The ones that are gonna come true and become a physical fact in your life are gonna be the ones that you identify as yours. And it has nothing to do with the circumstances. You can be going through the worst circumstances of your life. As long as your truth is, this is mine, done and happening, and I don't care how things look like, that thing is yours, done and happening, because you said so. Because you command your reality. Because guess what? You're the one and only cause of your reality, the one and only operant power. And now let's analyze this comment that I hear so very often, to be honest. What am I doing wrong? I have been living in the end for months and still nothing. Well, the first thing that gives away the fact that you haven't to me is the very fact that you say that you don't see anything. Like you don't see any changes. All appears to not be moving. And you know why? Because once you made up your mind that what you want is yours and you live in it and from it, it's impossible for you to keep on perceiving your world in the same old fashion. You cannot perceive your world as nothing is happening, what I want is not mine, still waiting for it, still trying to get it, if you're actually living in the end of the wish fulfilled. Again, what you are doing here is either you stay in the state of being that says, I am not, what I want is not mine, done and happening, and you're trying to technique your way to I am, it's mine, done and happening. This is not how you go about manifestation. You have to drop this mentality of, I don't know, following some steps, a formula, applying blueprints. It's not about that. So either you've been doing this, or either you've been doing this one thing that goes so unnoticed. So when I describe to you what a state of being is, my love, it's very hard for me to describe it because it's invisible. So most of the times I'm going to give you, I'm going to make a description. Like, I'm going to tell you how the state feels like, maybe. So for somebody asking me how to be rich, well, I would tell them, occupy the state of mind or make the truth that you are already rich yours. Occupy that knowing right now. And because I don't know how to explain it any other way, I'm going to tell you how it feels like. So for me, being rich means, first of all, safety. I feel safe. I feel like everything is being taken care of. And it has nothing to do with the money in the bank account. It's just a deeper knowing than what I see immediately with my senses, yeah? Then another feeling this state gives me when I occupy it is of freedom. I feel free. I feel I can do whatever I want. I feel like nothing is out of my reach. Then another feeling this state gives me when I occupy it would be peace and quiet, to be honest. Because I feel taken care of, there's no more anxiety, there's no more worrying about bills, there's no more worrying of anything. So see, what I'm doing here is basically I'm describing the state. Or in other words, I'm telling you what the symptoms of this state are. But for two people that still have this linear approach when it comes to manifesting, they take the symptoms that I just described and they turn those symptoms into steps. They think, okay, if I feel free, If I feel peaceful, if I feel safe, I'm gonna get to the state. My love, those are the symptoms of the state itself, not something you have to follow in order to get there. So you have not been living in the end, my love, even if you tried to replicate what the state feels like. I don't like this approach of fake it until you make it with manifestation. Because there's no faking anything, my love. You cannot fool the law. You cannot fool the law of being. What you are, it's what you're gonna see and experience. So faking it would mean exactly this. I take a formula, I listen to a coach over YouTube and I take their formula for what they did when they manifested their SP, and I'm gonna do the steps, but without the understanding. My love, search for the understanding, not the formula. And by the way, if you head over the last post that I was talking about in the beginning of this video, the first comments or the comments with most likes are people that really get living in the end. And you're gonna see, if you go and look, you're gonna see they are describing it differently with their own words, but the essence is the same. They may be doing different stuff, but the essence is the same. So do yourself a big favor, my love, and every time that you wanna understand how somebody manifested anything, stop looking into the steps and try to get the understanding behind it. It's the law of assumption, my love. It's very custom to each one of us. If I have the assumption that I have to stop thinking about someone and only then I'm gonna manifest them, then this is the rule that I made up for myself. You don't have to make up this rule also for yourself. And you don't realize you overconsume all this content, yeah? And upon doing this, pick up rule on top of rule on top of rule. And of course, my love, no surprise here that first of all, you don't understand what living in the end actually is, and then nothing works. You're full of all these other people's rules that you try to make yours. No, my love. Now, let me show you what living in the end actually is. And again, I'm going to describe the state. Don't take this and make all of that into steps to follow. No, my love, I'm going to tell you like indicators how to know that you're there. Yeah? So, living in the end of the wish fulfilled, aka living in the knowing that what you want is yours, done, and happening right now. Well, the first symptom, let's say, is gonna be like you cannot keep on perceiving your world or the situation that you want to manifest in the same old way. You cannot, you simply cannot, because it's a genuine change of mind. Let me give you an example here. So, and I'm gonna give you a negative example because this is where we can see it. It's louder, yeah? So let's say that you considered somebody to be your friend for a long time. And then they say or they do something, and after that event, you reconfigure your mind about them. Like you change your mind about them. You think they were never a friend. They were around just because they had nobody to hang out with, or they were jealous of you, or whatever else. So you went from this person was my friend to this person was a fake friend. If you look back at the whole relationship, even there you're gonna, because you're living in the knowing that this person is not a friend of yours, that you're gonna see through this perspective, and everything that you look at through this perspective is gonna look like, yeah, you're right, they have never been a friend all these years, not a friend. Why? Because once you enter any state of being, you're gonna be biased. We're always biased, by the way. You just have to choose the ones that fit you better, okay? Or that are in your advantage. So you see, the moment you figure out that this person was mean to you or lied to you or whatever, and you change your mind about them, you cannot see them ever again as you used to see them before. So this is the first thing that tells me if you have actually been living in the end of the wish fulfilled or not. Because if you keep on seeing your world the same old way, you haven't. I don't know, my love. You try to replicate some steps, but you are not authentically living in the end. You can't. You simply can't keep on seeing the thing that you want to manifest as not being yours, or your world, or and your situation with the same old eyes as before. You simply can't. Second of all, a very nice thing that happens when you're actually living in the end is that you stop trying. You simply stop trying. You stop with the methods. You stop trying to control your thoughts or your feelings, or the trying stops. Now let's look at what trying is for a second here. My love, trying is when you still consider yourself to not be something and you try to work your way up to that thing that you want to be. Like, again, this linear approach to stuff. Most of the times, behind trying hides your real state of being, your real end. And that end is I am not, and I'm trying to be. The trying will not save you, my love. Again, the law of being is very clear. You're gonna experience exactly who you are, not who you're trying to be, who you are right now, in every moment of the now. Can that change? Sure. And if that changes, the experience is gonna be different. But again, consider states, my love, as something that's full and complete in on itself. Like a bubble, like a circle, like a sphere. Once you're in that bubble, yeah, you're there. You're not halfway there. You can try the whatever, but no, my love. Every and each concept is full and complete in on itself. So if you want to have a different experience, you jump into a different concept. That's why we even call this quantum jumping. Some of us, I don't, or parallel realities, because where you stand right now has nothing to do with where you want to stand. They don't intersect, my love. They never meet these two lines. That's why they're called parallels or parallel reality. So again, another important thing that happens when you're actually living in the end authentically, yeah, the trying stops. And guess what else stops when you're living in the end? The waiting. The waiting. Because how can you be waiting on something that you already are? How? My love, for the people that consider themselves to be struggling with money, are you waiting to be struggling with money, or are you actually living and experiencing that right now? Are you waiting? No, you're not. Being poor or whatever else, it's also a state of being. Do you see how you're not waiting? You're not trying anything? Do you see how the state that you wear stains everything of this color, everything that you look at? I'm great that you're having your aha moments right now. And a fourth thing that happens when you're actually authentically living in the end is you don't care if it happens in 3D. That stops being your priority. And guess why? If I'm experiencing it right now, how can I still be waiting on it to happen again, on the same line with what we discussed before? I don't care if it happens in a 3D because I'm already experiencing it now. For the ones wanting to manifest a specific person, this is what you have to do. Just figure out what do you want out of that relationship. Because it's not the person, let me tell you, it's not the person, it's the experience that you want. So what do you want? To feel loved, to feel prioritized, to feel showered in attention. What do you want? Now give all of that to yourself now. Now, how do you do that? Well, decide to feel this way. Decide to see that you are already loved. Decide to see that you are already prioritized and showered in attention. And if you do this, you will see it everywhere because it is everywhere. What happens when your soul egos are focused on what's missing is that you miss out on what's there. Give yourself all that you're waiting from that person to yourself right now. This is the way you may manifest love, okay? And if you're immersed in this experience because you're living right now what it is to be loved and prioritized and showered in attention, you don't depend on that thing or this experience, better said, to come from that one person. You don't care. You stop caring about having the thing in 3D. And this is the paradox. The moment you let go is the moment that thing has room to show up, let's say. Of course, you will like it when it does, but you don't depend on it anymore. Because you're giving yourself that experience. How can you be waiting on something that you're experiencing now? You can't. So I hope this was clear about living in the end. Now I'm gonna head over the comment section and I'm gonna reply to some of your comments for now because, again, I'm 25 minutes in. I don't know about this, okay? We're gonna have a second part of this video or even a third if it's necessary. So let's do it. Let me go over the comment section now. And this one person says, hey, to me, living in the end is no matter what I see in 3D, I am still what I decide to be. Everything that I am currently experiencing is the unfolding. Yes. Where I get tripped up is emotions and feelings don't manifest. So it's okay to be sad, happy, etc. But being anxious can block us from experiencing that which we decide to be. No matter all of them can. So sometimes I get confused if I'm just being human and experiencing emotions or I'm being out of state, blocking my desires. My love. Again, so feelings are just symptoms of the state. And let me give you an example here. If I think I'm not safe, if this is my truth, aka the end I'm occupying, of course I'm going to feel anxious. If I think I'm being dropped, abandoned, of course I'm going to feel horrible and awful. So, my love, I also want to show you something here. You're all the states all of the time. You cannot fall out of a state because you are the states, all of them. But what happens when you switch around so much between states, okay, you just block yourself from experiencing what you want right now. That's all. I would highly suggest to everybody to stop placing such a big price on manifesting physical shit, to be honest. Because long before the physical shit, you feel like shit and you live in this shitty mind space. Okay? Prioritize a lot more your inner world, your inner peace over everything. Let me tell you, nothing is that important to shake your inner peace and to make you have days of anxiety, of sadness, of this and that. No one fucking person on this planet, no one desire. You're bigger than all of the desires. The reason for why they even exist is you. Nothing could exist without consciousness. And everything that there is just consciousness under that form. So give yourself, my love, the main spot in your life. No matter what you want, it's always gonna be so much smaller compared to you because you're the source. Now, back to feelings and stuff like that. Anxiety or sadness, they are just that symptoms of a state. Yeah, that's all. Anxiety is no more important than fear, maybe, or than sadness, or than any other feeling. They're all the same. They're just manifestations in the body of the state that I am in right now. You cannot fall out of a state. Are you moving constantly, like a lot and very fast between states during a day? Yeah. But it's you, because you are everything. You are the states as well. Everything is inside of you. You cannot fall out of a state. But yeah, if you don't learn a little bit of discipline, you're going to give yourself a hard time sometimes. Leave aside the materialization of the thing in 3D, because I'm telling you, if I occupy the state that I want to experience right now, I will not care. And this is the paradox. The less I care, the less I grasp onto something, the less I hang on to things, the faster their physical representation also shows up. Because if I'm there already, things start to shape itself accordingly, to yield to me, to who I am. Manifesting stuff in 3D should be the least of your worries, to be honest. It's a guarantee. If source takes a form internally, that form is gonna be reflected back at source externally, let's say, or in physicality. It's a guarantee. You should be worried about this huge price that you pay when you worry about stuff, because you're doing all this to yourself. What's the use of that? So, no, emotions don't matter. I mean, emotions don't manifest anything. They're in on themselves manifestation of the state you occupy, of who you say you are, of your truth in this moment of the now. If 1 second after that you choose to be somebody else, you change. Emotion changes. So don't pent up emotions. Don't try to repress anything here. Don't try to change the emotion, because trying to change and stop feeling anxious without addressing the state you're in that makes you anxious, it's like cleaning something that, no, it's like mopping the ocean. It's like mopping the ocean. Makes no sense, right? Or like, let's say you have a toothache and you take a pill for that, but you don't address the problem. Like, why is that tooth even hurting? Is it rotten? Now solve the problem and then the pain is gone. Yeah. I hope I answered your question. I'm gonna move on to the next one. And this one comment says, living in the end to me is dwelling on the things I want to believe, no matter what. I don't think there is really ever an end, but rather living in the experience and assumption that it's already true to you because you decided it is, and it always was. Making that comfortable and cozy rather than the opposite. I struggle with logical thoughts like, but how? Because if this happened, then dot dot dot, or but how could it be if they probably are feeling this, or but what if it's over, not possible because just feeling the things are final, and it's scary, especially when you're seeing opposition or third party obstacles, etc. But when I return to self and appreciation, it always feels better and things unfold nicely and gently. Okay, my love. So, the first thing that I notice so clearly here is that you say that for you, living in the end, I suppose, of the wish fulfilled, is when you dwell in the things that you want to believe. Now, what are you implying? What's behind this wanting? Well, it implies that you're not, right? So I'm not believing these things. I'm not living in the truth of my wish as being fulfilled, but I want that. So you're actually, are you living in the end of the wish fulfilled here? Or in the end that says, I'm trying to get there by believing? Do you see? My love, that's not living in the end of the wish fulfilled. It is living in the end of something, but not of the wish that says it's already fulfilled. You're trying something. And also about belief. To me, my love, belief comes after I get something. Then I believe it. But prior getting that thing, I operate from knowing or from faith. Knowing and belief, they play in different leagues, okay? Faith is not same as belief. Faith comes from a deeper understanding of who you are. And if you have this base, my love, is gonna be so effortless for everything that you want to manifest. What is this base that I'm talking about? Or this foundation? Well, it's the knowing that you are God. You are one with God. Not more and not less of that. So let's say the formula for God would be H2O. Well, you are the full entire thing. You're also the H2O. You're not H3O. You're not 3O, 5H, or any combination between these two elements, okay? You're the exact thing. And if you're the exact thing, you must be the all. And if you're the all, exactly what you want, it's also done, yours, and happening right now. You are it. There's no condition on being. I am it only if I believe it. No matter. There's no condition. Please understand this. You are it even when you don't believe it. You are it even when you don't feel like it. You are it even when everything looks like the opposite. So I don't stress, for example, to make myself believe in anything. I just know if I'm the all, I must also be that. I cannot be the all but that. Because infinity would stop being infinity. Do you understand? Okay. And now let's move on to the next part that shows me you're not actually living in the end of the wishful field. And that part is your logical thoughts. And you know why? My love, if you already have this person in the exact version that you want them to be, the relationship, it's the exact thing that you want it to be. Would any of these thoughts even cross your mind? No. Let's go a year past whatever you have right now in your 3D. I don't know if you're in a third party situation, separated, in a no contact. I don't know what your circumstances are. But let's say everything sorts itself out. You made peace with this person. There's more. It's been a year already from what you're living right now. So in that space, do thoughts like, what is he feeling about the fight? Yes, but this happened, but any of these thoughts or questions, do they make any sense? Do they fit in a narrative or in a timeline where you already made peace with this person, where there's no third party anymore, where there's just you two together, living your ideal love story? They don't make any sense. So if you have these kind of thoughts, my love, in those moments, you are on the timeline that says, I still don't have what I want. Nothing has changed. I'm still in a no contact. There's still a third party. And you keep on fueling this. Remember, everything needs you and your attention in order to be. The moment you take your attention away from something, imagine it as that thing becomes frozen, like a frozen frame in time. It is there, but it's not animated anymore because you do that through your attention, through your identification with it. So if you want to manifest this person, you will have, my love, to drop this narrative. You will have to start from scratch, from a clean slate. Okay, all this happened, fine. I accept it. Doesn't mean I agree with it. I just accept it, like I make space for it. Okay, whatever. And I choose again. All this becomes irrelevant. Who do I want to be right now? And I then step into this identity or step into this truth and I start living here and from here. Normalize deciding who you are regardless of what you see on the outside, regardless of what your past experience tells you. You don't have to continue that story if that it's not what you want. You don't have to. You're perfectly free in every moment of the now to choose something else for yourself. And there are infinite storylines or infinite timelines, whatever you want to call it, infinite states of being that you can jump into. Choose the one that you prefer. And it's, again, not about lying to yourself. It's not about being delusional. It has nothing to do with this. I can perceive that I don't have, for example, that what I want in my 3D, but I'm not bothered by it because I'm so entertained by my own experience. Once something becomes your truth, it also becomes your experience. Okay? Just like what you're doing right now. Your truth is that you're not together with this person, there's a third party. Well, all this becomes your full entire reality and experience. It's not difficult, my love. It's a choice. And this choice should come from this higher or deeper or whatever you want to call it kind of understanding of who you are. Because then it becomes so easy to just choose. It's like Halloween costumes. Who do I want to be today? A Catwoman. Now let me be Catwoman. I don't have to externally dress like it or behave like that or, I don't know, parkour, make parkour in my neighborhood and go on top of buildings. No, I can carry that identity within. Nobody has to know. I'm not going to go up to people and say, hey, I'm Catwoman. I just enter that identity and I start feeling like her, behaving like her, maybe internally for myself. Just like kids when they play. This is what kids do. We should learn a lot more from kids. A kid wants to play today that he's Batman. Well, he's Batman in that moment. He chooses the character and starts playing as if, yeah? And for the whole duration of him playing, he is Batman. He lost sense of other identity. In these moments, he is being Batman and you cannot tell him otherwise. He's saving the world, girl. That's what he does. So this is how you do it. I don't care that the things that I'm playing with are just puppets. Yeah, I'm still Batman. I'm still saving people. Do you understand? I don't care what I'm dealing with in 3D. And let me tell you, when you understand this, you're gonna see that not having it in 3D will stop bothering you altogether because you already reached your target. You wanted to be Batman. You are Batman. So do you care if you have a cape? Do you care if... I don't know. You don't. And that's the paradox. When you don't care, when you don't place more importance on that it should have on stuff, it's when things become floaty. And the materialization of what you want is very fast as well. Not when you do things to get the materialization of the stuff, when you hang on to stuff, when you grasp onto stuff. No, it's when you are acting like God. To God, everything is the same. God doesn't have preferences. To God, everything, all its creation, it's the same. So when you don't place this much importance on stuff and you're hanging on to them for dear life, is when things can manifest. But again, let's recap, yeah? First of all, my love, living in the end is not when you try to believe something, it's when you actually change your mind about what's happening. It's an actual change of perspective. You don't see the thing in the same light anymore. If it's about your SP and you think they have lost feelings for you or they mad at you, when you change your mind, aka when you enter this state that says, this person is mine or whatever you want, you cannot keep on looking at them as them being mad at you. Yeah, but this happened. All of that fades away, loses importance, becomes absolutely irrelevant. You can't. And another very important thing, what would I do? I would stop looking at feedback from 3D to know where I stand, because then nothing will change. Because then if I go over social media and I see a picture of him or her with another person, with a third party, and I keep making that my truth, it's gonna stay as my truth. Or even better said, I'm not living this reality. Is there a reality that looks exactly the same as this one, with the exception that the third party is long gone? Yeah, move there. With manifestation, my love, it's not that you're changing stuff, you're moving to where this stuff that you want to be changed is already changed. Do you understand? So you're not changing anything ever but yourself. You're rearranging your mind to perceive something different. And when you do that, when you're actually change your mind about what's happening has to change. Or at least this is how it looks like for us in 3D. What happens is that we moved to the parallel reality where things are matching our new truth. I hope I explained well enough, my love. And let me go on to the last comment for today because it's already a very long video. We're going to continue in a second part or even a third part if it's necessary, okay? Let me pick up another comment and let's answer to that. So this one person says, started watching your videos, manifested myself out of a relationship I didn't want to be in, thinking that I was stuck, after you and another commenter encouraged me, because I wanted my original SP. Original SP and I got back together after I focused on the end. We stayed together for 3 months. My end goal is us being married and living together. He's in the military. However, 3D circumstances was him going days without talking to me, causing me to be anxious. Though I was anxious, I still would tell myself in those moments that the feeling didn't matter. And I am still the version of myself who is with him. He ended up breaking things off. Now it's back to 3 months no contact. 2 weeks ago, I started living in the end again after feeling discouraged. He reached out 5 days ago with a welfare check and encouraging words. I didn't reply because I'm not accepting breadcrumbs and want my full desire of us being married and living together. I've been seeing so many signs, which I just use as reminders, that it's mine already. Am I on the right track? Okay, girl, we have a lot of things to discuss here. So, first of all, let me congratulate you because you're doing things correctly. Like when you say you focused on the end, and then after that, you've been in a relationship with this person for 3 months. Now, what you're losing out of sight, first of all, is that manifestation is not about getting the thing and then you forget about everything that you know. You also maintain it. You don't revert back to your old self. But, anyways, let me also show you how you even got here and why things appear to not be changing, and to show you that it's all you and the labels you put on stuff. So he was back 3 months in a relationship, then gaps in communication were making you anxious. As we talked before, feelings are just manifestations of the state you choose to occupy in that moment of the now. So, you being anxious, I'm sure that you were putting a meaning on his gap in communication that was not very positive, right? And I understand you. I understand you. This is a no-brainer. He doesn't talk to me. There's gaps in communication. The most normal thing to assume about what's happening is that there's something wrong. Yeah. So I don't know exactly what assumptions you landed on in those moments, but I think it was along the lines of, well, what I want is marriage, and what I have is nothing like marriage. It's far away from marriage, right? So, first of all, the first thing that I see is that you separate your now moment from your end goal. They are two different things here. And understandable again, a lot of people do this. A lot of people, what is even a desire? A desire is being born when I perceive myself to not have something, right? Okay. So, first of all, I see you separating your now moment from your goal. Your goal feels like something in a distance, like I can see it, but it's far away from me. Now, let's look at what you did next. These feelings of anxiety tell me that you spent quite some time in the end that says, this is not going according to plan. This is the opposite of what I want. And I'm not surprised if the very next thing that happened was him breaking things off, because you were labeling the whole situation as not being what you want. This is not heading towards marriage. So he broke things off with you. You went back to living in the end, and now he's back with what you call a welfare check and breadcrumbs. So, girl, along the lines, you made up your mind that this is not what you want. And if you live from this point of view, from this premise, and you look from this premise at everything that comes your way, you will never ever be satisfied. I'm not sure if you understand that the meanings you place on stuff is what determines how you're going to experience those stuff. So if you're telling the story of I am being breadcrumbed, sorry, I'm gonna be breadcrumbed. There's no way I can experience what's happening any other way. Do you understand? That's why meanings are so important, right? So if you slap the meaning of I am being grandparent, breadcrumbed on the thing, how do you expect to see anything else, girl? We have to start thinking more inclusively, meaning, whenever something that looks like the opposite is happening, instead of considering that this is not part of your desire, include it in your desire because it is. Let me tell you something. You are on the timeline where marriage is happening, and right now you're living those moments, but because you place these meanings on everything that happens, you move away from here. My love, if your end goal is marriage, realize everything that's happening until the day you are at the altar saying your vows, it's contributing to that final moment. Marriage is not something that happens from one day to another, and thank God for that. So, see, most of you don't understand. You have a goal in mind, you place this goal in front of you in the distance somehow, and the right now moment, you make it mean that has nothing to do with that. I'm not there. But you are. Think of something that you wanted badly, and it came true. Now think about the day prior that becoming true. Think about 3 days, a month, 5 years. Even when you were not aware, you were living the actual unfolding of your desire. Everything that happened the day prior, 3 days prior, 5 years prior, were contributing to the final reveal, if you want. This is the attitude you have to have with anything. Instead of making the like your desire like something that's far away from you, out there somewhere, make the elsewhere here and the then now. And how do you do that? By having the realization, oh my God, I'm living the unfolding of me getting married. Even if it looks like shit sometimes, okay? Even if I fight with my partner. Just because I fight doesn't mean I'm not heading there. You just live in fear, and you live from the premise that says something is wrong. And it doesn't matter what he does, you're gonna, girl, if you think something is wrong, nothing is gonna be ever enough. He can show up at your doors with flowers, you're gonna still make up an excuse. You still ain't gonna be able to see it. And this is how you got here in the first place. When things are not working out, there's no contact, there's this and that, there's breadcrumbs. So, see, you're just perpetuating a truth here. I don't know when was the moment that you landed on this is not what I want, but you have not changed your mind ever since. Therefore, you stayed on the timeline where this is not it. And whatever comes your way, you're gonna label it as this is not it. So you want the marriage, you live in fear because you're not getting what you want, and this cannot ever change. Never. If I don't change my perspective on what's happening, of course, everything that's happening is gonna look like nothing is happening. It's gonna look the same as before. And I have few words for people that are manifesting a specific person and have a history with that person. My love, you have to understand something, because this will make the difference if you're wasting your time or not. Okay? If what you want will turn into reality or if it will stay forever at the level of fantasy. And this one thing is, are you strong enough? Like, are you strong minded enough to really make a change in the way you're looking at your relationship and your person? Because if you're not, you're only gonna waste more of your time. And not only that, you're only gonna end up suffering and things escalating in the wrong way. Why am I saying this? Well, it's very straightforward, right? If I don't genuinely change my mind about what's happening and my person, nothing will ever change. Because again, my love, you are reality. You give reality and truth to whatever. And if I think that I'm being led on, if I think I'm being used, this is how I'm going to experience no matter what comes my way. So I can tell you the future from now on. If you don't change your mind about what's happening, but genuinely change your mind about what's happening, you're only going to end up suffering and wasting your time. This is a decision that I have to take my own at some point with my first SP. Okay? I only mentioned two people because they are the most relevant ever since I discovered the law. So my first SP girl, and I talked about this in a video, for the life of me, I couldn't see him and the situation through the lenses of what I wanted to happen. And because I couldn't, I had to stop somewhere. Because again, I can tell what the future's gonna be like. Because if I keep on seeing him as all the things that I see him as, nothing will change ever. For example, if I keep on seeing somebody as rude, selfish, everything that they're gonna do is gonna look like rude and selfish to me. And I'm only gonna end up hurting my feelings over and over and over again. It's a guarantee. If I don't change my perspective on what's happening, nothing will change. Now, this is what being delusional is actually. Like, I don't change my point of view on the world, but I expect the world to change. My love, you are reality looking at the reality, okay? You are the one saying what is what. And based on these labels that you place on people, circumstances, and places, that's how you gonna end up experience them. And waiting on anything to change, it's it's craziness. This is insane. Okay? Not you deciding to go after something and even though things look like the opposite. No, the true insanity is you keep on looking at stuff as unfavorable but expecting a favorable change. So, my love, I recommend you manifest a person when you feel strong enough, you're not swayed by appearances anymore. When you have developed this inner strength of, I don't care, because I know. I don't care how things look like, because I don't have to follow that. I mean, I don't have to make what I see in 3D my truth if I don't want to. Let me tell the world who I am, and then the world will follow. Like, so if I want to manifest a man, you know how I go about it? You are my man. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. I just don't. With inside of me, you are my man. End of the freaking discussion. I don't try to manifest you. I don't try to do this. I don't try to do that. There's no more trying left. There's just living in my truth. And then I step back and I allow things to unfold and to be whatever they are. Because I know I am the CEO of my reality. I'm not in the freaking logistic department. So my job is not to figure out what has to go down in order for me to get what I want. No. Let me be surprised by that. This is the funny thing about life. unpredictability. My job is to decide what I want and step into it, and the rest will follow. It's a rule. It's a guarantee. So who do I want to be? Who do you say I am is? I am is married with this man. I'm on that timeline. And even if there's a third party right now or separation or what have you, I don't care. Now, if you're this strong, go for it. But if you're not, my love, it's just, it can become toxic, okay? Nobody tells you this. I can tell you this because I've been there. If you don't have this strength inside of you, this discipline with yourself and this understanding that I don't care, I don't have to fall for anything. I decide who I am and then the rest follows, and I'm like patient with it, or I don't care. I mind my business and my life. If you're not in this position, my love, chances are that you're going to end up even more obsessed with your desire, holding on to it, suffering. And this is not manifestation, my love, at all. This is, at least, this is not what I preach. Okay? And I have to be honest with you. Put yourself in the spotlight again. Make your life about yourself. Who do you want to be? What do you want to experience? And then give that to yourself right now. When you're in a mental space that says, thank you, when you're appreciative of stuff, you're going to see that there's momentum being created there. So if I'm in a mental space where I appreciate my life as it is, everything that comes my way is going to be a bonus, like another one, thank you, another one, thank you. And the same happens when you're in a mental space that says things are missing from my life, things are missing from my relationship. If you focus on what's missing, this is how you're going to look at everything that comes your way, and nothing is ever going to be enough. Do you understand? Do you see how you do everything? Because that's all we do all the time. We project from the premise we stand on. Even when you look at your past, you're going to look at your past from where you stand right now. Maybe events don't change, you're going to see the same event, but the meaning of the event is going to be so different depending on where you stand and look from. When I manifested Gomez, somebody asked me a very interesting question. She said, so how did you know it was him? Very good question, right? Girl, I didn't. I decided. I didn't know. I decided it was him. Because I was living for the past couple of weeks prior meeting this guy. I was living in this mental space where I experienced love, being loved, all the stuff. So of course, when this guy showed up, I projected onto him all these qualities because that's all we ever do. So I projected on him all these qualities and figure out he was exactly that from the beginning until the end. So that's why I know you can manifest a specific person. And that's why I know the outside, the 3D is not reality. Because if it was reality and I would project all these things onto him that he was not, I would have figured out at some point. But no, he was exactly what I projected onto him from beginning to end. This is how I know that I'm cause. Okay? And this is how I know that it is safe for me to assume whatever I want to assume about any person or situation. I ask myself, how do I want to experience this person? And then I don't care. I don't ask for permission. If I want you to be my friend, you're gonna freaking be my friend, at least inside of me. And then, of course, because it's rule, 3D will follow. So you're gonna end up being my friend. It's a guarantee. There's no objective reality out there, and you project something onto it that's not true, and you end up lying to yourself and hurting your feelings. No, you hurt your feelings when you project shit onto people and onto situations, but you expect something different. Do you understand? So I'm done, babes, because yeah, it's a long ass video. We're gonna continue in part two. I'm gonna read more of your comments out loud. If it's necessary, we're going to have a part 3. Okay, thank you so much for your feedback. It helps me greatly to understand where you're coming from and how to improve. Thank you again, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.